don't put off hope. It's far too easy for our worries to shush the dreaming voice that asks, what if? We then delay in pursuing our deepest desires under the guise of safety or prudence. God invites us into adventure, and we reply with, someday. Replacing hope with waiting leads to an unhealthy life. True peace comes from seizing the invitation to live a God-centered life. It almost always requires risk, but the reward is the rich and satisfying life we were created to live. Our children, this is for fathers, but I often read it again as pastor and flock. Our children will not be shaped by someday, but they will be forever transformed by a father who dares to ask, what if? Let's pray. God, I want to chase the dreams you've instilled in me. Please help me to fulfill the purpose you have for me and to experience you by not waiting for what I hope for will someday happen. Thank you for desiring a life of fullness for me, for us. Amen.
Okay, that brings us to roll call.
Okay. Jean Bohat.
Here.
Jean Brooks excused. Brian Connors. Janet. Here. Kathy. I'm here. Eileen. Here. Jeanette. Excused.
Excused.
Barry.
Here.
Bart.
Yo.
I am here. Terry Stiller. Excused.
Online.
Okay. Linda. Here. Jeffrey.
Here.
Pastor.
Here.
And Martha, the other attendee. And Eva.
Okay. In that case, let's move on to reading of the minutes. Regular board meeting.
Excused. She's got the best excuse ever.
I think she was.
I think that was-
She was. She passed the 25th.
Okay.
That was May 18th.
Yeah.
Is that the day she passed away?
25th.
Oh, the 25th, oh, okay.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes as printed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So let it be written, so let it be done.
There's the second set of minutes.
And second set of minutes for July 27th.
It'll take you a while to read. Yeah.
Motion to approve the special voters meeting, July 27, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the special voters meeting for July 27th. All in favor?
Aye.
Who did the
Opposed?
second, Jim? Who did the second? Art made the motion.
Art and Janet.
Okay.
You have to slow down for our secretary.
Well, no, I heard it, I just didn't see what the voice was. Janet and Kathy was the first. Okay.
That brings us to reports of officers and committees. Board members.
Anything, Barry?
No report. Board of trustees.
That is currently vacant. Item Marv is still
good financial year last year, and we having to reverse this year. And if this continues, I will have to start pulling money from the LCEF reserve account before the end of the year. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Well, I just looked it up. The current bank account balance right now is a little better than that. It's 15,122. And that does not include July's rent from CDC and Rock. So, still not great, but better. Because Jeffers was the end of July
Yes.
that he had. So it's a little better. But still, I will be talking more about that in my report. This is exactly right now. We have action or access to the online banking again. So, all right.
All right, that brings us
Well,
to,
actually, that's right. I should have also reported that we did take the resolution from the special order meeting and we get things squared away with the bank.
Except they called me, they need one more signature from Gene. They created a new form,
Just for Gene.
just for Gene. So I do need to give the Gene and go to the next review.
yeah, I think I have notice of that at home.
So you have to vouch for him that he's who?
No, I will just go with him to,
Go to lunch.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see if we can maybe make it a Tuesday. But the lady that's been helping us is very good, but she called me and said, I'm so sorry, but I gotta get Gene back here.
Wow.
So, then that would complete.
Okay. Anything else then? Moves to, our treasurer,
Just finished.
LWL.
Thank you.
As Linda mentioned, there was a LWL convention in Omaha, Nebraska in June. And there were 4,000 people attended that convention. It was very successful.
permit's not expired, and now you're good for another while, so. We have permission now to put siding on and put the roof on. And we have, Art has corralled 3 of his graduates, if you will. And they met Friday to do a planning meeting to do the electrical in there. So now Art is working on a estimate of the materials. I have done an estimate of the remaining materials that we need for roofing and everything.
And that will all come out of ARC's budget, not the.
And that is ARC. They have the money in the account. And so it's looking about $6,000 worth of material and labor to finish it. I did just grab Phil. Yeah, to ask him if he'd paint the shed. So that'll be a couple $100 probably. Robert, excuse me.
Otherwise, we have enough to cover it.
Art
Art
has,
is taking
Art
care
has
of
the
it.
money to cover it. That is not on Trinity. And then, once that's done, we'll need an electrical inspection and then probably a final inspection. And then we can start using it. And then, the next item, Lynn and I will need to sit down and other representatives to establish a use of facility fees, how we're gonna do that. We'll pull out the original, business plan that we created with ARC. It was approved in a sense. It wasn't anything official at the time, but it was reviewed and approved by Trinity. And we will establish an official, guidelines for that. So we haven't had the need, and that's why we haven't really had any reports from the Lieutenant Relations, but, that will be changing soon. And so, because that was Linda, Bunny, and I, as that committee.
Well, that's the negotiating committee, not tenant relations.
Correct, I'm sorry. Thank you. The following. So then, that's all for our flag. Any questions?
Sounds like we're making progress.
Slowly. Tenant relations, don't have anything to report there. Again, we're just continuing to try and work with Arrive and CDC. They've been current with the rents, and as I mentioned at the council meeting, Art for Life as the property liaison manager. We just recently established a new process for receiving and processing checks for the rent. So we were a little behind, we're catching up, which is one reason that the bank balance was so low at the end of June, end of July. But we're catching up. And so, in-house keeping for ARC has been reestablished, and that should catch up. So that's tenant relations.
Okay, sounds good. Negotiating committee?
That was included in what you had.
Yeah, I kind of included that. Out of order.
Yeah, unfortunately, Leanne, he's kind of combined all his reports into one, so you'll have to separate things for each subject. If you do the minutes. You'll have to put some things out of order.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
okay, Gene.
All right, then we'll move to the auditing committee. Nobody stepping up.
that's
That should be
Art and Leanne.
As auditing committee, I believe that we reviewed the forms as best we can at this point in time and have found no error. Any questions?
Questions for the auditing committee?
Okay, so I passed already.
Yeah.
Good time.
Just barely. We found no discrepancies. You were too detail oriented.
All right, and unfinished business.
Synod leadership. But many of us were pleasantly surprised at the district convention with our synodical president, Matthew Harrison, attended. And he seems to have a change of heart, a shift in ideology a little bit. Some of the things that we were not happy with seem to be in line with district stuff now. So I don't feel it's as important. But I will, I need to pull that form out.
Yeah, I just double checked that the preferred date for nominations, that period ends this week, but they will accept up to the middle of October yet. But we won't have another meeting till November, so it looks like we're gonna pass as a congregation.
We will be meeting as circuits very soon, and then we will be taking any of that information to the circuits, and then the circuits will submit as well. So it's technically not our last option.
So it's like suggestions can be made or
The process would be, I would bring suggestions, and we can vote on it, and we can submit formally as a congregation. But there's really nothing that we would be voting on per se. So, it's more just to participate in the process and be aware of what's going on. So, yeah.
Okay. That brings us to the new business. Beginning with the 2026 Budget Committee.
Yeah, you need to appoint one, there's no motion needed, you simply need to say, we have a committee and.
You, and so Jeff, and Leanne,
And automatically part of it.
and Pastor's automatic, okay. Jeff, Leanne, and Pastor. New Budget Committee. Anybody opposed to that?
Well, anybody else want to be on?
Yeah.
Want to be part of the budget? Don't see a lot of hands. All right. Then how about the nominating committee? That's an exciting.
I'll take the job. I'll
Yeah.
strong arm everybody.
Yeah, there are several vacant offices that you need to recruit people to fill.
And I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it in my report, but that is something that, we have several vacancies, and I don't know at what point the council becomes unfunctional, ineffective. And I've said it, haven't said it recently, but, Trinity in their history has done really well at keeping things running. Particularly the year and a half or so before Jan and I came, but we have some vacancies, so.
You need more than 8 people to run the place. Okay. So do we need to appoint a budget committee or
You just appointed the budget committee, you need to appoint the nominating.
a nominating committee?
just hard.
No,
You don't need a motion to.
no,
No motion.
Okay.
I'm the nominator.
So just appoint Art.
slide right over to the report of the pastor.
All right, you have printout, but I also have it on the screen. Quick reminder, our mission or vision is to share the hope, love, and forgiveness of Jesus Christ through engaging in worship, fellowship, and service. We are in a different season. I want to spend a moment on a couple of these verses. You heard me use them recently, and you'll hear me use them again. We will be starting each of the, I'm calling it Better Together meetings. We've had 3 already. I have 3 more sheets that I need to contact and set up appointments. But we had 3 already. And we have 1 more today. If you haven't done one of these, it's not going to excuse you. I will find you. We are meeting with each household. Jan and I. We are, at the top it says gratitude for 10 years. If you've been here more than 10 years, we're going to celebrate that as well. And then we're going to have discussions on the next 10 years. Okay? So, and in those discussions, and you've been hearing them, you're going to hear them again. Ecclesiastes 3:1 through 8. I'm not going to read the whole thing this time, but for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. And if you remember the rest of the passage, it's a time to be born, a time to do this, a time to do that. There's a time for everything, and God establishes that. So often referred to as there's a season for everything. And so, knowing that our seasons change, right? We're not the same individually as we were 10 years ago. The church is not the same as it was 10 years ago, as it was 20 years ago, as it was 30 years ago. In the spring of 2027, Trinity would be celebrating 70 years. I don't know statistics about the longevity of different churches, but that's a long time. Not a lot of churches go 70 years. Architecturally, buildings stand. There's a lot of empty churches out there. Worldwide. Europe, there's gorgeous cathedrals sitting vacant because there's no people to fill the pew. Jeremiah 29:11. We all know the verse. For I know the plans I have for you, not plans to not hurt you, but plans to give you hope and a good future. The context of this verse is Israel is in captivity in Babylon because they were bad. They're in a timeout. But the hope and a good future that God is talking about is eternity in heaven, our eternal salvation. That will never change, no matter what season we are in our own lives or in the life of the church. And then it ends in, then you will call my name. You will come to me and pray to me, and I will listen. So I've already confessed I'm not that good of a prayer warrior, but that is changing. We will be praying diligently as a church, and I encourage you as individuals for God's will for our lives and the life of Trinity. And then a little further in Ecclesiastes 4:2 better together, if you will. Again, you've seen these before, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them, but we need to understand the reality of all of this stuff that's going on, not just here at Trinity, not just in the district, and not necessarily just in the Synod. These are worldwide. The statistics I have are district and Synod. But this reflects the church worldwide. But remember, the gates of hell cannot prevail against the church on earth. Oh. Currently, well, we have these numbers here. This is the Synod. It's in your handout as well. Right now, the Synod nationwide has 5,761 active congregations. By 2035, that number is expected to be down to close to 3,000. In 10 years, it is projected we're going to lose 2,700 congregations.
That's 2,700 congregations?
2,700 congregations.
Not 2,700 people, but 2,700 congregations.
Yes.
That hurts.
The Synod, or the district, has in place a 110 initiative, which is 100 new congregations in 10 years. Those can be church plants, those can be new congregations, all sorts of different things, new ministries. 110. 100 in 10. Other districts are doing similar initiatives. It's been established at the district convention. So, right now, out of those 5,700 congregations, 2,200, not quite half, almost half, 40% said, are 50 people or less. That's us. We're one of those. There are only 90 congregations in the country that are 500 people or larger. That was like Costa Mesa, and I think across the hills, I think it's Necky, in Chino Hills, Pastor Andy Brewster. Both of those have large schools that are still successful. There's not many churches, what we would call large churches. And in the grand scheme of things, a mega church is like 700 or more. You know, like Saddleback and some of the Calvary chapels. Those are mega churches. Well, even Calvary or Saddleback is even declining. Part of the issue is a lot of people are going online. So that's a whole other story. All right. These are district numbers. Currently, there are 263 congregations in our district, Pacific Southwest District. 118 of those, 45%, are less than 100, or less than 50. That's us. 73%, 3/4 of these churches are less than 100. So this is where I get was led to the Ecclesiastes verse. 118 congregations with 50% or less. 72 congregations are unable to afford a full-time pastor. That's us. But 72 out of the 263 can't afford it. they're still keeping the doors open. But for how long? I have a pastor friend in another Lutheran synod, and they're in a very similar situation, and he's a little concerned that they will let him go to keep the doors open. He's being paid full-time salary. But in order to meet their budget, they're likely to let him go and just have pulpit supply. Problem with that is, again, don't take this wrong, but like before we came, there was no direction. There was no vision. All you were doing was keeping the doors open. That's all they were going to be doing, is keeping the doors open.
You lose continuity.
You lose continuity. There's no purpose other than, which isn't wrong, but there's all you people are doing in churches like that. They're coming to worship. There's very little evangelism. There's very little stewardship. There's no outreach. There's no vision for the future. Okay? So there's a time to join, a time to share, a time to renew, a time to build, a time to grieve. Our statistics specifically, January 2024, we had already declined. When Jan and I came, we didn't have actual statistics, but from memory, and there were our sheets recorded. It was 14 to 18 on Sunday. Middle to the end of 2023, even after COVID, we were close to 30. January 2024, our average was 26. January 25, the average was down to 20. We lost 6 on a Sunday. Now, the second quarter actually jumped to 23, but that was Easter was in there. We had 31 at Easter, which was the lowest Easter we had in years. It also had a baptism, which had 49 in attendance. And then we had one on Sunday that had 28. Wonderful. But that's not the regular reality, is it? So the last 5 Sundays, not counting today, but last week and the previous 4 Sundays, we had dropped to 18.6. We had one Sunday that was 8. We had one Sunday that was 13. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. These are the real numbers. We've been tracking them for 2 years now. Yes.
Have there been any reports recently of the increase or decline of the population of Montclair or surrounding area?
The last numbers we have are the last census, which is what, 2022? 2020?
I don't think we are capable of growing the population.
Well, we are. Look at what they're building in the area.
I don't know of any.
They're tearing down, homes and businesses and building 3- and 4-story condos and apartment buildings.
Yeah, well, that's good.
They can't increase.
North of the mall here in Montclair, there's a whole bunch of new buildings like that we just described.
Yeah.
I just drove by it yesterday, it's like 4 stories.
So those are things we will be looking into. But it's more of a change in culture. And I don't want to blame COVID, but COVID had a bad effect on society. One of it was we couldn't gather really in worship, so what did people do? You couldn't come. So we jumped in online, and that helped. We still have a decent presence online. Bud joined us, Terry, Sarah. She is very active in her own church now, so she'll see the recording. she doesn't join us live much.
It's later there by the time.
That's, yeah, it's later. So she's very active in her church there. We have quite a few people that actively join us, and then we have 50 to 80 people a month connect our website. We don't know exactly how long they stay or if they're watching the service. So we still have a good amount of people connecting to us. We need to do better in engaging them. That's something Mark and I are trying to work on. Mark Mendes, he's still active online.
What about Kirk?
Yeah.
They're across the world.
He's doing well, enjoying life. Last I heard.
Just a note, there is I just looked it up online, 0.35% decline over 2025 in Montclair, overall population.
Well, I heard last year, state of California, 400,000 people left. More left than came. There's still a lot of people coming. But that has finally shifted where 400,000 more people left California than are coming.
Wow.
So that is a dramatic shift.
I'm just wondering where all these people go.
Texas.
All over. Texas, Tennessee, Kentucky.
Someplace else?
North Carolina, South Carolina.
They're overpopulated other states.
Utah.
It's a cheaper way of living.
And do they go to church there? I mean,
Yes.
so we're losing people, but they're going somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah, they're not, yeah, they're going, so, and it's all over the country. But not all of them are going back to church there.
Other denominations having the same.
Oh, everybody. Catholics are having the least issue.
And the families that are moving that I know are like my nephew and my godsons. And they're moving, my godsons took his family and moved to Texas. My nephew moved to Utah and.
cheaper.
Yeah.
My niece lives in Utah, but now she's in the Mormon faith, because she married a Mormon.
Yeah.
My nephew's probably going to Texas.
Yeah. And it's their whole family.
Their money goes there.
That generation.
You know, we have a friend, a family friend of Barry's, Eileen, Roger. He watches a lot of times online. He and I text and communicate. So I consider him part of our group. So there are several. We have a small, faithful following online, and that's something we need to build up. But the other reality that Jeffrey already alluded to is our,
Sorry, I said Utah, that's in Idaho.
yeah,
There too.
they're going all places. And we don't really have statistics of what churches they're moving to. Because church attendance, even those people are declining already. So likely if they're moving, they're probably joining somebody online.
Or staying in touch with their old church.
So, the bank balance on January 8th, 2024 was $28,000 plus. The bank balance on May 29th was 20,700 or something. Bank balance August 2nd, I just told you the one today. 15 something. And again, that does not have
15,122.
Yes. So it's a little more than what was there. That's what I gave to the council. LCF is 23, whatever. That hasn't changed. But if you look at that, as attendance continues to decline, finances will dwindle quicker. And at the current rate, We just, I think that when Janet and I came, we said, does Trinity want to go on hospice, or do we want to revitalize? The vote was to revitalize. We made a valiant effort. We grew a little bit, but now we're going back. That's the season we are in. I don't have all the answers. Yeah, what's that? Like I said, I added that slide. I don't know the plan right now. I don't. I have in my head a revised vision of what God has for us. I don't know if that's the reality yet. So what we're doing is we're meeting with each household. We are praying. We are celebrating the history. We are seeking new ideas. Next Friday, I have a meeting with Pastor Jim Henkel, who is our ministry executive from the district, and Pastor Patrick Curley from Emmanuel, who is our circuit visitor. He's the lead pastor in our circuit. Okay? In the hierarchy of things, when I have a problem, I go to him, he goes to the district. Or if the district has a problem with me, they come to him and he comes to me. I mean, that's the structure. They call it ecclesiastical supervision. So we have a meeting next Friday, morning at 9. Be praying for us. We are seeking resources and ideas from the district. Many churches are doing unique things. There's partnerships. We don't like to use the word merger anymore because it has a sour connotation from years ago. Because typically what happened, you'd have two dying churches, they'd agree to get together, and then they would argue whose property do we use, what service time, what pastor do we use. So there are new ideas coming about. Christ Costa Mesa and Faith Huntington Beach, which is where Janet and I first went when we got to California. They joined partnership. Faith Huntington Beach became Christ Huntington Beach. They share resources, but they're still different congregations. But yet they are better together. That's just one example that I'm familiar with. Some of us are reading a book called Better Together. And it has dozens and dozens of options and ideas. I'm not saying anything's going to happen. I'm not making plans. We're gathering information so that we can all get together and make a good decision. Okay? This is hard. I don't like doing this. This is the reality of our numbers, our attendance, our finances. If we don't do anything, we have a year and a half. Maybe we can squeak it out for 2. But in my experience, I've seen that happen. In the last year, it won't be fun at all for anybody. There's going to be no joy in it. So we are moving forward with some direction. We're going to move. I'm not going to just sit here and wait for a year and a half. We're getting information. We're going to take some action. And then we're going to be praying diligently. And we're going to say, God, we're heading this way. If it's right, bless us. If it's wrong, to redirect us. Okay? So be praying in your homes for ideas, wisdom, discernment. And as we So again, why is this happening to us? We've been faithful for almost 70 years. Yes, you have been. But it's not why is this happening. It's what is God doing? I don't know yet. But we're seeking. What is He doing? We're going to celebrate the last 60 some years and pray that there's more. But again, it's hard not to. But it is not a failure if God chooses to allow Trinity's season to be over. It is not a failure. Do you hear that? It is not. God will do something with us, with the resources, whatever that might be.
It's basically fruit of the vine. Every so often you have to prune the vine.
Because, again, don't take this wrong. It's not about Trinity. It's about the church of Christ on earth, the kingdom of God. Sometimes we have to swallow our pride and, okay, God, what are you doing? Okay?
What do you want us to do?
You have no idea how this hurts. But I'm not going to sit here and wait. Okay?
We as a family can't afford to sit here.
Right. I got to work. And if that is whatever. Please do not project, or start rumors or whatever. We're having discussions individually. We put this out here, and as I get information and ideas from the district and other resources, we'll have more of these conversations. And then we can better move forward. It might be, I didn't want to get into it, might be. What if? We firmly believe God still has a purpose and a vision for us, whatever that may be. All right? The last page of the report, it has some of those things that I did present last January. If you remember, I put this out there last January. Let's not jump to conclusions yet. These were just options that might happen, that God might do. So pray, 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 and pray some more. And that's all I have for right now. Any questions? I don't want to have a lot of discussion right now. If you have a burning question right now, by all means ask. If it can wait, you can write it down. Wait till we have our individual family meeting. We can talk more directly. And then we will start having group conversations as we get through the larger group. I've identified 15 or so households that are still connected, active. We've been through 3, we got one more today. So it's going to take a little while. All right? Any questions or comments right now?
When you meet with the people you were just talking about on the 22nd,
Yeah.
that information you'll save until when you give it out dispersingly, or wait for the next voters meeting or council, or just when it's a.
So much going to depend on what it is.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just information.
We might have a special voters meeting. Or I might just call a special informational
And you
meeting.
won't know until after you go through all of that.
Yeah.
To be determined.
Yeah. So, you know, if there's something to vote on, we'll do that. But my guess is we would probably just have an informational meeting, which doesn't need to be official, and then we can work towards something that we might need to be voted on. But we don't have to decide today, but we're not waiting for a year. Does that make sense?
In other words, we've got to start thinking about and planning now so that in a year's time, we have something we
in
can
place.
act on.
Exactly. Exactly. So. All right. Well, it's not all right,
Okay, any other questions for the pastor? Now we'll move on to announcements.
but, I have none.
The only thing I have, today's mail has a catalog from Concordia Publishing, if you're interested in getting any books out of the Senate Publishing Company.
Yeah, my catalog's in my desk. Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So let it be written, so let it be done. Stand for the
Well,
flag.
that's the Lord's Prayer.
Started.
Our Father,
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Ready, break.
There they go. Done with this? Left.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to take the table.